I understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways, but there is not. If there were,
in our quest to bring to the table issue-based conversation around nationhood, and as we continue to build the narrative about public
people, Mr. President, there is nowhere I can say it except here. This is why I'm elected. If I cannot say these things on this floor, sir, I better resign and leave.
As elections give the citizens the chance to make their political decisions on Nigeria of everyone's dream. Join Cʀᴜɪ̀n Akinode as it takes to task seasoned analysts, opinion makers, business professionals, and politicians on issues around politics, policies. 98.3 FM will welcome you roommates as we discuss the situations.
And January 2025, more than 265 lives have been lost to fuel tanker explosions in Nigeria. Guess what? Twice of that number have perished in the last 2 years. In more than half a decade, tragedy had feasted on many human bodies. The answer is a resounding no. Scooping fuel from an overturned petrol tanker is not just risky, it is so hardship cannot justify pulling your own life on the line to stay alive. Whenever you see an overturned tanker of people attempting for your loved ones who depend on you, then
it's from mainland 98.
Well, about Senator appeal filed by the PDP parties, by the PDP governorship candidate, that the appellant failed to prove their case of overvoting non-compliance with the elect. In a unanimous decision, the apex court held that the submission before it, Ighodalo, was not duly elected by the majority of lawful vote cast in the September 2024 election. Specifically, the apex court held that the PDP candidate failed to prove non-compliance as he merely challenged the outcome of election in the states. Exactly. Those are the updates that we have as we speak. Well, the apex court also said that the 19 witnesses called by the tribunal did not help the case, court stating that the appellant failed to prove without doubt admissible evidence on the claims that the election was. Well, I'm sure for the people and the party faithfuls for the All Progressive Congress, it's democracy at play. And of course, the PDP that has happened, but it doesn't exactly mean that he still upholds that victory. Talking about that of Senator of Edo State. Today, the Supreme Court has ruled, though I accept the finality of this judgment, but I did not and cannot pretend that it was delivered. What was delivered amounts to justice. What happened in September 2024? And while I will not and cower like you, I feel a deep sense of betrayal, not just by those who rigged the process, but by the very institutions we trusted to, that your voice does not matter, that your freedom, that your freely given mandate can be trampled upon. The birth of a new Edo to every elder who longs to see our state rise again, and to every woman and man who prayed, campaigned, and voted. We may not have won closest today. A beautiful story that will, unfortunately, echo beyond the halls of the Supreme Court. I fear Edo, broken people. We may be wounded, but all wounds, those who hold power undeserved, lead with humility, govern with conscience. Federal Republic of Nigeria, signed PM. A 90 straight minute of conversation around politics, policies of government, people that swore to provide same for us. Well, we've had a 6 weeks from Ikoyi Obadende, from Ojokoro LCDA. Yesterday, the PDP chairmanship candidate for Sᴘᴏ was also a youth party from Etios local government. We brought in the chairmanship candidate for Lagos and Rethinking Cities. So we were able to, in our own little, we also galvanize support, and I'm sure a lot of people don't know actually, and that's the fact. But a big shout out to everyone. Lagosians are aware that truly, in terms of mobilizing people, I was around Sᴘᴏ, Tᴏ괜ᴛ, and I saw quite a lot of candidates. So yesterday was the deadline. So today, tomorrow, no more campaign. So I don't know how much the candidate, building that awareness and that connection so that people don't just keep their fingers crossed. I know tomorrow or Saturday is election. We don't have to go out. By the way, the modalities for movement on that day have been released from 3 a.m. to 3 p.m. Movement around Lagos will be restricted on Saturday. So today's Thursday, so you have to, maybe a lot of them didn't even put into consideration that there will be election on the 12th of July. Maybe weddings, birthdays, and all of that. Unfortunately, to figure it out. Tomorrow on the show, I would have Mr. Ybolaji Fasha and building engagement. Whether we like it or not, the reality is that local government seems to be the most important closest to the people. A lot of people will probably never see the president, even if he spends 30 years in office. One-on-one, you probably will never meet the president. Maybe you won't even see your governor, maybe your senator. But you, with the local government autonomy, a friend was saying on one of the groups recently that he would rather contest for local government chairman than House of Assembly member. Willing to get involved on Saturday, I'm just appealing to you. Yes, I know there will be a lot of inducement. It's a reality we cannot, shy away from. That you up to do, but please, I'm begging you, do all the best you can on Saturday to get involved in the local government election. And when I mean get involved, I'm not sure if I have the he and his party XYZ to visit, relax, whatever it is you want to do. Please, I beg you, maybe an hour. And we cannot continue to overlook what happens at the sub than fix roads that are beneficial to a whole lot of more people. But of course, your local government chairman has a lot of money. It's a whole lot of money. So we can't continue to this election. Then you know that local government administration is no longer to do a 1 kilometer bridge or do more money at the local government now. And what that means is to whom much is given to, much is expected of. So you should have issues around, the LCDAs, whether government in Lagos was actually recorded. But last year, I released a timetable that covers of the election can be. But I'm begging you, and this is not even, a statement from Ikoyi Obalende to Etiosa to Oshodi to Alimosh on Saturday, and get involved. Vote for your councillors. Vote for your local. That sacrifice of getting involved and voting for our local government chairman. Election, and they don't already write the names of the people who go win the election. And I was just there, and I'm like, I just had to get involved and tell them, vote for the party that you thought I'd read. Don't get frustrated if the card readers are involved. Local government, a lot of issues from the survival of the coalition. Some of the members of the coalition had come out to say, would you only want them? The former governor and speaker of Rivers State, former minister of transport, Cmēmē had come out to say that if I pick up the ticket, if I win the election in 2023, I'd also come out to say that I would not spend one day more of my 4 years as the president of Nigeria. I'm talking about Mr. Peter Gregory Obi. Well, the question is this: what should be more important to the coalition? Providing alternative to the people, or pushing for the leadership or the presidential ticket of the party? See, what are economic issues, power issues, and all of that? So you don't even need the coalition to highlight those problems. What you need the coalition to do is to provide solutions to those problems. And do you think that should be the priority for now? Or you think they should settle the issue of the presidential candidate once and for all? Labour Party, whatever makes up the coalition, all of them would have to run their primaries in 2026. We'll talk about that on the show today as well. We'll also look at the political implication of the Supreme Court verdict earlier reached today. One way or the other, when you have cases, you have litigations in courts, and his office have been upheld by the highest court in the land, what is next? We'll look at that on the show today. But something also big is brewing, and the cancellation of green card. Well, the presidency released a statement earlier today, trying to dribble around this very, very sensitive issue. We'll talk about all of that on the show.
Good evening, Okoyemi and our listeners all over Lagos State. Good evening to you. And I'm sure all of us are preparing for the local government election. So I'm sure, Okoyemi, you can see your PDC. I'm sure you've gone to Dust Street and waiting to vote for your choice.
That last line, I've defeated what I wanted to say.
That if you know the candidate, I mean, you can't just go. Can you go? Please, can you just go to a polling unit and start voting without knowing the candidates, their manifestos? I've not seen any campaign. Even when I told my wife that the council election on Saturday, we have to do some things tomorrow, any election, as they can, what the result of that election. But I'm just saying that I think let's prepare for this election. I think let's say that to encourage people to perform their civic 15 political parties where we're participating.
Thank you also very much, Mr. Adeyemi, for also lending your voice to this campaign. It's something we've been deliberate about for the past 6 weeks. And then we had the last set of candidates join for Labour Party, and of course the PDP candidate for Sᴘᴏʀᴛ, chairmanship candidate for Sᴘᴏʀᴛ, Babajide Benson, was also here live in the studio yesterday. We touched all of the parties that we were able to reach out to, from Labour to PDP to APC to Youth Party to AAC, African Action Congress. We reached out. Meanwhile, you said, will I be able to vote? Unfortunately, as we look into quick enough, there should be special provision. Zone 2 does not even cover where I can vote. For instance, I registered in Sᴘᴏʀᴛ, and during the last election, I was zoned A, especially police officers. It's not like we are more important than every other citizen, but we see it everywhere. I know that the last...
They allow you to vote earlier. Won't that process be abused?
No, I don't think so. Building their vote. I know someone that was in Nigeria about 2 weeks to the election, and he just told me to give him a hotspot, and within a minute, he had voted. They sent him a mail to thank him for exercising his franchise. Right in Nigeria. Mr. Adeyemi, you have broken this table finally.
I thought if Americans voted, we mentioned about 17 million Americans voted. So we used, I'm not saying now, and I'm not saying the same will happen on Saturday, but I used to have results flying around. I think, this election in Lagos State, let's just make it comment before you go to proper issue, because these are dominated by political parties.
True.
And there haven't been any serious concerted effort, I think, for the stakeholders in Lagos State and party-dominated political space for the period since 1999, at least today. And they are not ready to relinquish. They are consolidating, not only consolidating.
Oh, the deputy chairmanship candidates.
So you see, and they will be chairman local government now or councillor. So they father to son or father to daughter. So and the major stakeholders, I think, it's very important, and they are not thinking, I think, directly how to rescue grooming of the children, to take over, say no to such things as it's not a family business. The Lagos, they are right to say that with their thumbs, right? But as it is now, I think we have not seen the real democracy, I think, playing as it should be in Lagos. And essentially, I think without wasting much time on this, the essence of democracy is change. Where there's no change or fried rice or pounded yam every day, because I know people are from Indo State, no matter what we like pounded yam, for the state. So no matter how much of man nature, but by the time we are fixated to the system of a political party that no party has come to check their books, they are giving us. So I'm not sure Lagosians are getting the best of democracy as it is. Because it's based on another party to come and tell us, okay, to check their books. And to let us know what they did make us to know. What they did, I think, on family affairs basis, right? But that has never happened in Lagos State. But what very crucial position in government and are being prepared to take over. Via election, that is unfortunate. But by and large, the election will tomorrow. And as I've said, I joined you, at least in encouraging people, I think, to go out massively and vote for the chairman, I think, of their choice, or the party of their choice. Because local government is now with so much resources, it's kind of autonomy, a level of autonomy. I think theoretically, I think they are getting now as the best candidate will match at the end of the day.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adeyemi. Well, for context, the vice chairmanship candidate for APC for Agege local government is actually Abdulganiyu Vinod Obasa. So the father is the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, and if the wishes come through on Saturday, what exactly we are dealing with. But hey, the people of Lagos.
But I refuse to mention the name anyway.
No, I'm putting it out in context. Is information.
No, I discovered something, right? You go and check the name of the councillors. On testing for councillorship in, and if most of them, I think a substantial number of them are not far from those and the SC or whatever. And my son, my daughter now is already becoming a councillor. So what am I grooming him to become? All right? So that means you have been grooming them. But that's just the stage we are in, because so I don't want to also people out the one that's so obvious. So it has become a pattern, most especially in Lagos State, and about which I think because when people allow political actors, the elites to dictate, certainly, so we're not talking of only Lagos State. It's now becoming a political trend and a dangerous one.
It would sort itself out, rather. I will also hope that Lagosians would come up on Saturday. Deputy Governor Usman Hamzat is also a candidate. We'll also have Muyosoro Gunlewe, so that in case we want to make our choices, just like Mr. Miwa DME said, that how many of the candidates, not even APC, and it's not even an APC thing alone, is across board, from Labour to PDP. Everybody will carry their banners, are dancing around, and just there's no real conversation every month. Well, Mr. DME, let's go straight up to the conversation today. Let's talk about the ADC. I mean, you made mention last week that their priorities should be a presidential candidate of the party. Is this a step in the right direction for the new coalition?
Well, I think only last week, when we were on this program talking about this ADC, I think what we discussed here essentially was that, well, I said I welcomed them with courteous optimism. That there were a lot of expectation that most Nigerians have been having on having a coalition of opposition, that because the more you split your votes, the better for whatever to come together. And go and put together the votes of PDP and Labour Party in the last election. I think Tinubu will have come near them at all. Right? They put together their votes. So they were having about 2 of them who have about almost 13
over 13 million votes.
They don't risk staying with Tinubu. So no politician wants then they do competition and say, hey, the way these people are going, if they're not okay, you cannot stop. They will join you. As what we're experiencing now, right? So, with that happen, and we said last week that that they have chances, and they still have chances, because we're not just saying it for the purpose of robbing, I think, massaging their ego, right? We clearly stated a statement of fact that, and the number of people that cast their votes in the last election were in the range of 30, little less than 30
million.
So meaning that if you can cast your net right at the right place in the political ocean, so you have about 70 million fishes of different sizes, shapes, taste, at least to catch 70 million. So somebody has not been able
of involvement
to perform their civic responsibility. So some people take the electoral process. So meaning is there for you to catch. I'm not talking of every. I'm talking of. I'm not even if you had opposition. So, but what are those things that are missing? That the vacuum. What are those things Nigeria wanted to hear? What are the political behavior? What are the utterances? What are the political behavior? What are those things that will make them different from what we have seen and we have? I think if, as I said last week, that if I'm one of the strategists, is that in the next 6 months we don't want anybody to talk about presidential ambition or any ambition in the next 6 months. Let's to get busy. They will have used that period of 6 months to bring themselves together. These are straight bedfellows. Will Ell-Rufai now say sitting to where the mark is now? They were putting it before. When was that? Right? These are people that just coming together. It was not the progress we've ever seen. And the Aḻe Jábso, whether here or there, he's been playing progressive politics right from his student days in Ghana. So he's the secretary. The mark is on the conservative side. Are we saying?
Hello.
If they want to start the way it will convince many people, why can't they first start to sell the party, to sell new ideas, to sell alternatives to economic policies, security challenges we are facing? Just come together as a party that is serious and address this issue. Why can't you just try and win confidence of Nigerians that this want to do something different? I think if they are giving themselves 6 months to say, our people, we still have, but nobody is talking of presidential ambition now. But it will now let party members know where the is still a business as usual. You launched a party last week. I think that we thought should be ready to play the role of a father of the party. That should, as a because Nigeria, getting or dead politicians in the history of Nigeria. So he has told the other world he was contesting. So his members are not working for the development of the party again now. They are already scheming how Atiku
will be the flag bearer of the party.
Or that he was going to fly the ticket of the party. So all these people also, they are working in that direction within that party. Amechi also has joined the fray. He got enough energy this time around to say he wants to contest for the presidency. Well, I won't be surprised if Ell-Rufai tomorrow will come up to say he was going to contest. I won't be surprised. Simply because there's a debate already going on among them. Whether deliberately or otherwise. But Kenneth Okonkwo is a member of the party. And we all know they are going to support a northern candidate. He said it. What will be the chances of the southern candidate in church to the south? Now, what I'm saying is that I'm not saying all these things will not come to play. But it shouldn't be, I think, it should be the front burner of discussion for a new party. You shouldn't be bringing all these kind of things on the table now. when you wanted everybody, all the country, to be part of you. It's too early. That is my position. So they would have. I think, why in a hurry? Are they forming the point for the purpose of the issues we are talking about here? So, but I don't know. I'm sure. I think some people may not see what we are seeing, and there's no problem about that one, right? But as another analyst, we look at the situation and listen. When APC was consummated, the issue of who becomes the president was not the first thing agenda. Together, first and foremost, to draw out the weaknesses of the incumbent former President Jonathan. Though after several years, we knew that he was far better than those who brought him down. But the main Nigerians would believe so, that Jonathan, them, to say, bring cockroach, bring any imbecile, is better than Jonathan. They sold that domain to Nigeria, and then Nigeria got it. And when the issue of presidency, bring the issue of zoning that finished me. And Frank Bonner, in a new party chapters in states, those who were members of these parties were one leg in ADC and other leg in other parties. Obi said that he see a member of a Labour Party that if this ADC will not give me what I want, well, I go back to my party. Why if they refuse to leave their party, let their party push them out first, so that they have no option of going back to any previous party, their party. Let PDP declare Atiku, Cǒtùnà Ngata, and dismiss from the party. That's not easy. Let Labour Party, whether faction or faction, so that Peter Obi are the well integrated in the ADC. There is no point of because to them that they came with a coalition. In many your previous party and still be in that coalition, or you are going to resign as a David Mark has resigned and be fully in coalition. They have not spelled all these things out, and the issue of internal contest is already dominating the space. And whenever internal contest has started, that is the problem. Perhaps they are still being motivated, driven by the personal ambition. So there's a point that they wanted to rescue Nigeria, but they didn't mention that from the politician. Right? So the point I'm trying to make here is that, well, but because I wanted democracy in Nigeria. And if I have my way, though we cannot decree it, you cannot make it my thinking. That's my wish. So because that's where I can promote accountability. So if a party has been there for 8 years, now we are likely to have a APC is there for 12 or 16 years as maybe, right? Let another party come in this of the PDP to the extent that PDP came and apologized to Nigeria later. So what in the next coming to check their books or what they claim to have done, let another party come and touch light. And that's some of them, some of us at least they want ADC to survive. We want them at least to I think, to make impact. Because allow just a class of people, I think the one we have in Lagos that is further to. So that happened in Nigeria. You understand? So, but I will see it in America, right? You understand? Where Bush will have, so America wanted it and then they merited it. I'm not saying the president, I'm not saying if any, but it won't be in the process that we hijack the move to and they get party tickets because they know that there's no position to challenge it. So I'm trying to make up is that again, even better with women. They asked, you understand? He said we played politics, not allow the presidential issue to, especially we have good contributors, even the Canada Party. If at this stage of what they are now, if the party is tilting towards giving Amechi the party ticket, at this stage the actual person that all of you know, let's say the worst scenario, or we are bringing eminent people like Professor Cʀᴜɪᴜ, that people, let's say the best of us, they are bringing the Katiku and the people who sit there. Do you think Amechi adding enough question among these people's discussion to have that people talking about it in the new party? What have we told Nigerians? What distinguishes you from PDP? Now we're talking of presidential ambition. Now we're talking of whether start or not. Now displays the interim executive of the party. You are saying as something like state lawyer. Wait, assemble 98 stars. We are living witnesses, and we shall wait and see. So that's the issue.
I mean, one would expect that anything different, anything new that is coming to, make things better, we need to do things differently. And I remember the days of the build-up to the 2015 election. Every single day, as writing, speaking, granting interviews, and everything against the PDP government and candidates. If Peter Obi decides to leave Labour Party today, Labour Party would probably also still field candidates. So everybody would have to come with a different election. Is extraordinarily true. So we have to, find a way to strike the conversation. Consciously, Nigerians are ready to go into the 2027 election and exercise their franchise. Maybe now that everybody is hungry, I was forced to make a series of tweets yesterday, Mr. DM. Before we go to the next topic, and I said, this is the lowest we've ever been as a nation, Mr. DM. You're coming out of the mall, you're going into a clinic, you're picking some gari, buy me rice. So it's not even like they want to use the money for something else. I've never seen it yesterday because I got off the bus yesterday, Mr. DM, and somebody, because the time I got home was late, bike couldn't enter. As I was trekking into the estate, someone else approached me. And this is what has been happening. And I'm like, how have we gotten to the point where things that people can afford? I know I was alive in this country where people can buy rice 150 naira and buy 2 meat for 300 naira. Now people are buying rice 1,500 without meat to eat. If that is coming to say anything ahead of the 2027 election, I'd better be ready to say something different from the rhetorics of I'll fix your road, I'll do this, I'll do that. You have to be ready to say something different. Otherwise, I think we're still talking of 30 million people.
I think there was a time we conducted. I did a story. I think yes, I did a story. When I was doing the good political as a guy in the newspaper. I think after Edo election, right? And we tried to look. In 1999, was higher. Number of people that voted in 2003 higher than 1999. In 2007, at the presidential level, we have been experiencing southward trends. You understand? I mean, it has been declining. Right, that we recorded up to 50 million. And now we're not talking of less than 30. That's a party is already beginning to lose confidence in the process. Number one, that whether you vote or you don't vote as was impression, and they believe so. Right? So discover that going to polling units, when people begin to lose confidence, okay, when you voted better, you didn't get to be expected. Okay, we call the Jonathan Clueless, we call their own name, we didn't call him, right? So, and then when Buhari got here, we also planned. Yes, agreed. I'm not saying anything new. I'm not making case for anybody. Nigeria, Lagos. You understand? Now we know better. We Nigeria speak of yesterday with nostalgia. That how do When you see Nigerians talking that the olden days, we had this the best, we had that the best. It's like what we are now, you understand? I think it's the worst ever to happen to on the planet. Citizens are getting more patriotic also because the government is improving on their welfare and getting better. And turning into factories. The police stations have been rendered, I think, ineffective. Nobody in the cell. Not for 1 or 2, 3, 4 years. Criminals. So what I'm saying is that it's quite unfortunate that in Nigeria, yesterday, looks are all running away from this country. And it's quite unfortunate for any people to say the truth as it is. So what they're saying is that we need to be, I think we'll bring out something else, which I don't know. Because if we are 10 million, 100 million in the country, and from close to 37, 38 million, there's danger. There's danger. That's why we are saying that ADC should get it right. National personal interest in the forefront of this party formation. They should forget personal interest for the survival of democracy. In 2027, that many people will come out and vote, they were able to get it right. Let them speak to 70 million that have never participated or refused to participate in that process, refused to participate. That's from politicians. They should stop behaving as if they were still MPN or PDP or SDP. Let them speak to the needs of Nigerians. I think if they have 70 million, more than 70 million people, some people can be sentimental about it. Some people can be just say, okay, because they love. So let there be internal cohesion. Let them know themselves better. Let them work together. Let them shake hands that will speak to the needs of Nigeria. So before a personal interest begin to divide them, we know personal interest will come out everywhere around them. Because they believe we wanted to see that. But as an analyst, I think we know that they must do something new to get the confidence of Nigerians. Old path. David Mark should not drag them to the old path. That old path has survived more than 50 years. That was the old path. So if the Mark could not think of something new, he should go back to that. Even when people will say, you don't need to tell a blind man that the market is over. You understand? Even if people could not see, but once you stop hearing noise, understand that let somebody tell you in plain language. Now, why can't you be a father to this party? Be a father to rescue. I think this guy should please. I'll pay you go and beg them. Beg them.
I wish I have this, and if the party truly belongs to the people as they claim, then the people's voices should also be listened to by the leaders of the party, even though there are still issues. Dumebi Kachiku was sure that today his party, the ADC, does not have any national chairman or secretary until they conduct a proper or until they hold their convention, and until then they don't have any national ESCO coalition to take over the ADC. I asked him, Mr. DME, and was like, well, since there's no ESCO, that there's a BOT and the NEC, Ralph Nwosu ceased to be the chairman of the party since 2022. And I asked him, if you say Ralph Nwosu ceased, who signed your presidential form? I think a lot of issues will need about 5 minutes because I want the people to join the conversation. Let's talk about the judgment of Edo State today. I mean, Sᴘᴏ Godalo had released a statement. The PDP candidate last year was a clear robbery and coordinated attempt to deny Edo people of quality leadership. But hey, the highest court in the land has upheld the election of Senator Monday.
Politically, I'm not talking this normal class. Right? Politically, is that in Nigeria, dispensation. It's in your interest to be strategic and ensure you may end up an academic exercise. I'm not saying that wrong. I'm not saying that. Even when Supreme Court lately, the APC in Edo State, instead of, I think, Egodalo to take his case to God and wishing well, it's also thinking of no internal vanquish. That's supposed to be your phone now. Supposed to be calling the judgment has told us, especially in this dispensation. And if this almost adding to it, that incumbent governor lost all the electoral petition, all the election petition, whether 3 or 4, including NY lost at the appeal. No, mention one that incumbent governor lost. In the should I be that predictable that as the case seems or looks like in this dispensation? Well, if it's election, well, I don't know what will happen. Anambra will be tough. I can assure you that too. Anambra will be tough. I'm not saying that they be to ensure they get a victory on that day. So let's go and meet in the court. Perhaps the transition will continue. So the decision can be this predictable. Because I was at a forum where we were discussing someone that have lost a case. Any incumbent that have lost a case in this decision, maybe I will listen to you. Well, we said no, but this one could be different. And when the judgment came, preconceived opinion kind of
that mindset.
We want to gloss over such from different angles. We are speaking politically. So that is the trend. Now, so whether you bribe people, whether the figures were something like this, and somebody will continue to enjoy it. So, but by and large, the Supreme Court has spoken. If you don't agree to it, but I expect a peace in that case. I think the kind of utterances coming out from them, I think it's not helping. They need peace, and you are telling him, and you are telling the former governor, everybody, that party, whatever, that they should take their case, they can go to God. So I think he wants peace to govern. If he really wanted to govern people, if the intention of your winning or your supported winning or your Supreme Court, you need peace. You have to bring everybody along. Let me tell you something. I was discussing with somebody just off record. I'm sorry, not off record, just off any. Look at the case what's happening in Ekiti State. Ekiti State election is 10 months ahead. Only in the history of the state since 1995. Tenure of the incumbent governor. The state has been peaceful. Because of one day, one trouble.
There's always a story.
And I was at the chief for almost 7 or 8 auditing to the extent that Shegun even remaining PD, he could still not say anything in public against the governor. Because the governor will go to the houses and
prostrate for them.
And see their brothers read them. Where this boy is going, no, we are somebody back from one day I go to our doing. I think he has governorship ambition ever since swagger. But up till now, he didn't know how to approach it. We have no choice but to realize to
Thank Thank you very much. We'll have to read some of the messages that we have on all our social media platforms. Benjamin is on Facebook says the preaching of most of you guys on national radio stations. And what was the outcome? The choice of the electorate, was the choice of the electorate respected? The answer is no. The only thing I can tell you is to go to court. Up until now, nobody have asked Mahmood Yakubu, the INEC chairman, what was the outcome of the judgment of Edo election. Nigerians are not practicing democracy, but civilian rule with agbada and khaki uniform. That's Benjamin from Sᴘᴏʀᴛ. Read more messages on Facebook. This one says, Reverend Solomon Jason Somi, good evening and well done. Thank you. Okay. Tᴏᴜɪnᴛᴇʀ Michael says it's unfortunate that 26 years of uninterrupted democratic rule was still being faced with bad leadership. The most annoying was hope of the masses had been compromised and pocketed by the head of the executive, which is the president. Well, that is your own view and position. Same with the National Assembly, which has remained a rubber stamp. The only way forward is to clamor for the speedy passage of the Electoral Reforms Bill, which would include granting local government autonomy and state INEC through the governors will no longer conduct. Koda Odu says, good evening. What we want is free and fair election. There should be no form of harassment, intimidation of electorate, and please help us to sue for peaceful conduct on your station. Thank you. Ambassador Musba, very much, Mr. Gege Joshua.
Yeah, bro, thank you for picking my call. This coalition is not actually going anywhere. This Gege Joshua is not going anywhere. I see them breaking out, and I would have advised President Tinubu and some of our agents, in power to send some boys to this particular ADC stuff or everything. Let them delay. Let them have the particular time. They will make sure that they sign an agreement that all of us, whether or not you win as the party's flag bearer, you remain in the...
It's very undemocratic. Even the Constitution allows freedom of association. If I'm in Party A and the Party A does not suit my ideology again, I move out. If I lose it, bind me to any commitment or oath to remain in your party because I don't feel comfortable with the ideologies of the parties anymore. Tomorrow is Friday. It's going to be the last edition of the show for the week. And before we'll also go into the 2025 local government election in Lagos. And my guest tomorrow is going to be Mr. Oyebolaji Fasashe. Yes, he's the founder, Global Leadership Development Forum. And tomorrow we're going to be wrapping up our series of administration in Nigeria, connecting the dots and building engagement. Let the people get involved. Prepare